There is a particular kind of frustration that visits anyone who has ever tried to build wealth methodically. The feeling of watching a savings account or investment portfolio creep upward by what seems like meaningless increments, month after month, while the goals that once felt close remain stubbornly distant. And this frustration is not a sign of failure, but rather a signal that you are standing inside one of the most misunderstood phases of a mathematical process that eventually rewards patience in a way that early effort simply cannot predict. The core concept hiding beneath this experience is compounding, not as a vague financial buzzword, but as a literal exponential curve, one where growth is calculated not on your original contributions alone, but on the accumulated total, which means that in the early years the absolute dollar gains look almost identical to simple interest, creating the illusion that nothing unusual is happening. Psychologically, human beings are wired to evaluate progress linearly. We expect effort and reward to move together in a straight line, so when a portfolio grows slowly for years, the mind interprets this as evidence that the strategy is weak, when in fact the exponential curve simply has not yet reached the region where its slope becomes visually and financially dramatic. Mathematically, this is best understood through the compounding formula itself, where a sum multiplied repeatedly by a growth rate produces a curve that looks flat for a long stretch and then bends sharply upward. Not because the rate changed, but because the base being multiplied became large enough for that same rate to produce a much larger absolute number, meaning the identical percentage return generates dramatically different dollar amounts depending on when in the timeline it occurs. Zooming out to the systemic level, this is why financial institutions, pension funds, and long-horizon investors design strategies around decades rather than quarters, understanding that the architecture of compounding rewards duration and consistency far more than it rewards timing or intensity. The identity shift required here is subtle but significant, moving from measuring your progress by how much you feel you have earned in a given month to trusting the structural mechanics of a system that is quietly working in the background, largely invisible until the moment its curve becomes undeniable. Understanding this does not guarantee any particular outcome, and every path through markets and time carries its own uncertainty, but recognizing the mathematics behind why growth feels slow before it feels inevitable can change how patiently and rationally you relate to the process itself.